Saturn is going to enter into Aries energy this week. We aren't seeing the fake book, we're seeing the real book. We're not seeing the second set of books. We're not seeing the cooked books. We're the week of May 19th and following 7 days. Monday, we see that the sun is sitting there at 29 degrees, the millionaire degree, in Taurus, money, banking, financials, okay, income, my money in the bank, my bank account, how I receive can be more than just money, but also my desires. It can be how I receive love. Your Venus is your love language. You follow? Venus rules Taurus. We have this Hygeia, and this is a report card. So the interesting thing is that Hygeia and the sun have kind of been almost conjunct the entire time together in Taurus, meaning traveling together, right? Close together. And the teaching is that when the sun and a planet are close together, that other planet kind of loses its power. It's more about the sun at that moment. The sun burns up that planet and its meaning and its expression and the way that it's seen and felt and heard, like its individuality and uniqueness are kind of burned up by the sun. It's gone. It's burnt up. Another word they use is kazemi for that. So if there's a health report card and the sun has been conjuncted this whole time, authority figure is the sun. Money, values, banking is Taurus energy, all things earth, agriculture, food, the planet, the animals, natural resources. We think of our earth and all her jewels, all her treasures, right? And the report card. When the sun and Hygeia are conjunct like this, there have been moments where we have been seeing the reality and the truth because we have been getting glimpses of the financial book. Like, we aren't seeing the fake book, we're seeing the real book. We're not seeing the second set of books. We're not seeing the cooked books. We're seeing, the first copy books. That's what we're actually getting glimpses of. And so May 20th, right? May 20th, May 21st, Gemini season begins. So Gemini season will be here. And Uranus is showing up here at 27 degrees. 27. And it starts off a strong trine, Gemini's air, starts off a very strong trine to Pluto energy. You see Pluto there. Because Pluto is at 3 degrees in an air sign, just 3 degrees. So this is the sun trining Pluto. Pluto is an authority figure. It is a person of power. This is group energy because it's in Aquarius, someone who's in charge of group energy, but it's friends. So it's like-minded friends. It's also like this oligarch energy. Okay. So this means you have 2 authority figures in a strong trine. So in your chart, you're looking up 0, 1, 2, 3 degrees. We'll go at the most 4 degrees of air. So we got Gemini, we got Libra, and we have Aquarius energy. So this starts to kick off Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Thursday's the day when we've got the sun exactly at 3 degrees. And then Pluto, of course, is there at 344. Some would say that when you talk about Pluto energy, instead of just talking about power and intensities, some even say that with Pluto, the past is involved in some way. And there's deep psychology here, even with Pluto energy. not just, powerful people. So in your own life, in your own world, in your own astrology chart, looking up between 0 and 4 degrees in air, there might be something here for you if you're likely going to find yourself pondering maybe from friends from the past, people who you had really strong, deep connections with. And this is where it gets tricky because it's deep, strong connections, but maybe you weren't the best of friends. Deep, strong connections can be there was irritation, there was agitation. It basically means a rise in intense emotions. So that can go a lot of different ways, right? So kind of keep that in mind for this whole week. Now, when we think about it on a global scale and we think of, authority figures connecting in with each other and having communications, well, I think business. Pluto's at the 3 degrees of Gemini, which is business. The sun will be sitting here at 3 degrees in Gemini. Gemini is Mercury energy. It is trade. It is business. When we look over there at the Aquarius energy, like that's the supply chain, the global system, the global supply chain. Like, where are we getting these resources and these minerals from? Who are we going to be doing business with? What's the new trade agreement? And writing is Gemini energy. We are writing something. Are we writing up a contract? Well, because we'll have the sun and Pluto trining at 0 to 4 degrees, if there's anything that you have in your chart, it can be very beneficial as the sun travels through the through the Gemini energy in air, because Libra energy is contract agreements. Venus is traveling through Aries energy, which means we've got like Venus and Mars working together. You follow Venus and Mars because Venus is here at 13. And, right at the beginning of the week, she's at an Aries degree, which is we're kicking off something. We're doing something and starting something new. So if you're starting something new, it becomes, well, what are we taking action and starting new with? Well, remember, when you're talking about Aries energy, you're talking about not just action, but assertive actions, possibly actions that involve weapons and maneuvering and moving things around. So, yeah, we've already been seeing and hearing about reports of the United States making some moves against the Houthis. The United States, I'm not a military person, so I'm not going to say what they used, but there have been deaths. We'll put it like that, because of shipping and business, and when you mess with people's money, well, they're going to come after you. Like, that's just how it works. So that's what's happening, right? Neptune and Aries. Look at Chiron and Eris. They're over here together. They're both at an Aries degree. They're both sitting at 25. Not that they just got here, okay? But they're going to be together this whole week at 25. Now, they've been getting closer and closer and closer. So group energy, people angry because Eris is feminine energy who's pissed. She's a female version of Mars. She's Mars's sister, I call her. Eris, Eris. She's pissed. She's pissed because she's never been acknowledged, recognized, and she doesn't have a seat at the table. This is angry energy. At 25 degrees, this is the Aries degree, so we can act a bit childish. We can lash out. We can even surprise ourselves because it's conjunct our wounds. The wounds that are that are connected to childhood, possibly, connected to ancient civilizations, connected to how I appear. When we think of the ancient civilizations, how I appear, we think of the indigenous cultures, how they appear. What you're passionate about is your Mars energy. Well, that's your Aries energy too, right? And Venus is passionate about what she values. But when she's in Aries, she's going to take action on those things. Venus is feminine energy. Saturn in this chart is sitting at 29 degrees, like 29:58. We are counting down. Saturn is going to enter into Aries energy this week. This week, Saturn is the rules and the order and the structure. These are the regulations. That's Saturn energy. The regulations, the new regulations for fighting, for weapons, right? The commitment to that, the long-term tangible financial security is what Saturn is all about, what we are building towards, what is our goal. Well, if Saturn goes into Aries, it's using the military. When Saturn, serious, duty-bound Saturn gets into Aries, Aries grows the hell up. Aries is very childish and immature. But when Saturn gets there, Aries becomes quite serious. Imagine Mars being the private. Again, I don't know the ranks in the military. But being a private, and then all of a sudden, a commander in chief sees them and gives them some recognition, and then suddenly Mars gets um, what is it in the military if you go up in rank? I don't know what that's called, but Mars is no longer a private. Mars has got some responsibility and some duty, right? Mars can be, it can, in that position, has a little bit of authority over somebody else. That's Saturn in Aries. You see, the Mars, the Aries energy gets a little bit more serious and takes things more seriously. The Aries energy can be a little naive, for sure. So having Saturn there may clear away some of the illusions and delusions because Neptune is there. And if that happens, hopefully it's for the long haul, where it will be the better thing for equality and fairness and for everybody involved. The opposite of the Aries energy is Libra, which is supposed to be fair and balanced. It's about equality. It's about, we got a contract, damn it. Once Saturn hits the Aries energy, can create a beautiful trine at that 0 and 1 degrees. Now, I want you guys to keep in mind these degrees right here, 0, 1, and 2 in Aries. Saturn and Neptune stay here until they retrograde and go back into Pisces, which they both will do. So that tells us that they're not only going to go to 1 and 2 degrees, then they're going to stand still and retrograde back into Pisces. And then they're going to go forward again, which means the 1 and 2 degrees is really important. There's a lot of work to be done. So the number 1 degrees, well, first of all, the 0 degrees is extreme. It's usually a crisis point of some sort at 0 degrees. A decision has to be made, an action has to be taken, usually a crisis point. Okay. Aries energy, Mars. 1 degrees, taking action. Even though we probably already had to take an action at 0, but at 0 degrees, we might not have had a chance to really think it through, right? 1 degrees is also accused of not thinking it through because it's 1 degrees. It's about self. It's about, what are we initiating? What are we starting? And what's worth fighting for? Freedom is a big one. And obviously the global powers have to sort out their shit. As I scroll down the chart, we have to go to Mars because we've been analyzing Aries, and Mars rules Aries. Leo energy is all about the show, putting on a show, loves entertainment, loves to be entertaining, thinks of things as a game, is optimistic, and it is fun. It wants to be very physical. It is physical. It's strong. It's super empowered here. Talk about courageous and willing to take crazy ass risks. When you mix Mars and Leo energy together, it's the mixture of the naivete of Aries and the fearlessness of Aries with the willing to take a shitload of risk of Leo, because there's a lot of fun in that risk taking. And so it's that mixture of, it's the goddamn daredevil mixture. I think of Evel Knievel. Before Saturn goes into Aries, the south node in Virgo and the north node in Pisces, they go to 24 degrees. And I mention this because it's already at the Aries degree here at 25. But when it goes to 24, because the nodes go backwards, it's institutional energy. You see? So it's more governmental energy, more institutions, right? more departments within the government. And it's the South Node at 24, more releases. We're housekeeping, we're cleaning, we're getting rid of the waste, right? Remember that video I made? You never get rid of the Virgo stuff. Jupiter is in Gemini, and it's right now at the beginning of the week at 25 degrees, but it makes a move this week. Jupiter is going to go from the 25 to the 26 degrees. So it goes from you see how strong the week is at the beginning with Aries energy? The nodes were at 25. Jupiter was at 25. There's a lot of Arian energy other than looking at the sign of Aries, other than Venus, other than Chiron, other than Eris. Jupiter, between Thursday and Friday, Jupiter goes to 26 degrees. That's the money degree again. That's Venus. So there's a lot of significant transitions from Aries energy to Taurus energy this week. And it's with Jupiter, it's with the nodes, it's with Saturn, a lot of energy, a lot of beginnings, a lot of action. And because of the sun trining Pluto, trade agreements being a little bit more solidified and it making sense, I guess. I can't believe I use the word making sense in a sentence with the way things currently are. But I am recording this. I'm in the beginning of April recording this, and it is so crazy, insane right now. I am, I I don't even know what to say anymore. Really, it's almost like I said, anything goes. So with that said, I got a kitty cat. It's dinner time. I've talked enough. I hope you enjoyed the video. You got questions, comment below, and we will see you. This is Zoe. Can you see her? Zoe showed up for a video because it's dinner. Are you hungry? She's like, here's my tail. Okay. All right, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye. Hey, they always go after my life. Every time. They go after it and they want to just